Hi there, it's Emma from Beacon School Support. First off, this video is one for the SENCOs in England and Wales. If you don't know what the initials EHCP or SEMH mean, this probably isn't for you. Still with me? Great. We've worked with a number of schools recently who've raised the question of how do you collect evidence for EHCP applications for students who present challenging behaviour. The main challenge here is that authorities want proof that schools have implemented a graduated response for students with SEMH needs, starting with quality first teaching and then building up through increasing levels, and this is important, of systematic additional support. Another challenge is knowing what sort of evidence to collect and when. And remember, behaviour hasn't disappeared from the EHCP system. The government's focus has shifted from behaviour to the causes of those behaviours, which is what SEMH is all about. So instead of just thinking about how do we manage a child who's walking out of class, for example, we also consider what is causing him to walk out of class, which could of course be down to a number of issues. Our solution is the graduated SEMH framework. It gives you a structure for implementing and evidencing a graduated response to SEMH. It provides a systematic approach to providing support. It's manageable and realistic in terms of workload. It's got the assess, plan, do, review approach baked into it, and it's completely free. Sounds good? Right. So how does the system work? Our system builds on other educational and academic systems that you're probably already familiar with. The Wave 1, Wave 2 and Wave 3 approach to providing support. Only, so that we don't get mixed up with the child's learning support, we're going to rename them Stage 1, Stage 2 and Stage 3. Now I want you to imagine a folder, and we're going to split that folder into 3 sections. In the download you'll find a file called Folder Dividers and Information Sheets. Open that file up and print it out, ready to put into your folder. The folder dividers are named Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, and they tell you what level of adult input is appropriate for each of those stages. More on that in a minute. Stage 1 involves strategies that the class teacher can implement by themselves. Stage 2 involves some planned additional adult support. Stage 3 involves more intensive support for the student. For each stage we give you a behaviour plan. Stage 1 plans are the shortest and simplest, and they fit on one side of A4, including space for the review. Stage 2 plans are slightly more detailed and fit on 2 sides of A4. Stage 3 plans are more detailed and also include a risk assessment. Each plan will guide you through the assess, plan, do, review methodology recommended by the government. For each stage we'll also give you an information sheet that explains what kind of evidence you should start collecting and some prompts to get the teacher thinking about what might be causing those behaviours and what kind of strategies might be useful. So when a child presents a behaviour difficulty, we start by providing Stage 1 support strategies. After a period of implementing those strategies and collecting evidence, which we place in the folder, we review how successful the Stage 1 plan has been. At this point, there are 3 possible outcomes. The student has improved and needs no further support. The student has made some progress and would benefit from another Stage 1 plan. The plan hasn't been successful and the student would benefit from additional support, in which case move to Stage 2. If the student moves to Stage 2, the process repeats, only this time they are provided with additional systematic, planned adult support. For example, maybe 10 minutes a day working on a specific social skill with an adult. Further reviews are carried out, and if the Stage 2 plan is unsuccessful, it might mean that the student is moved to Stage 3, where they are offered planned, systematic and more intensive adult support. By the way, it's unlikely that a student would go Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3. In most cases, they would receive a number of Stage 1 plans and a number of Stage 2 plans before reaching Stage 3. Each plan should probably be in place for between 6 to 12 weeks before review, depending on the child and the level of need. Children that reach Stage 3 are the most likely to require ongoing long-term support, and for each stage we'll give you suggestions and prompts about what evidence to collect, which you slot in the correct section of the folder. By using this process, you will have gathered evidence and put in place support that is graduated and systematic, support that grows in intensity in response to the need. Now, of course, this doesn't have to be a real physical folder. It could be a folder on a computer. How you want to work is up to you. So, what does each stage look like? Stage 1 is based on quality first teaching, things that class teachers can do by themselves. This is important, so I'm going to say it again. Strategies that can be delivered in the ratio of 1 adult to 30 children. This will involve the class teacher writing a very simple plan. In secondary schools, where the student might have lots of different teachers, a learning mentor or central professional might take responsibility for this. In the plan, the teacher identifies up to 3 behaviours that are causing concern, and they are then asked to reflect on what might be causing those behaviours. They identify up to 2 whole class strategies that they will consistently implement to support that child. We can't give a definitive list of whole class strategies here, but examples might be things like changes to seating arrangements, a consistent response to defiant behaviour, for instance using limited choice strategies, or breaking the work down into achievable chunks. At Stage 1, it's also desirable to start getting parental involvement. Stage 2 involves a twin-track approach. The teacher continues or develops their whole class strategies just as they did before. Also, the student receives planned, systematic adult support to help to address their needs. Here, the adult support is most likely to take the form of group work, an intervention delivered on a regular basis, maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day. The plan asks you to be very specific about the purpose of the group work. How will you measure its success? And also some practical questions, such as who will run the group, where will it be run, and how long will it go on for? When a student reaches Stage 2, we would encourage parents to start putting in place strategies to support their child at home as far as they're able, and this will help to build consistency between home and school. In addition, Stage 2 plans ask you to start identifying a way of measuring the impact of the plan using a numerical measure. This will help you gather more objective evidence to use when assessing whether or not your plan has been successful in the future. If the child moves to Stage 3, they'll need a Stage 3 plan and a risk assessment. The Stage 3 plan is split into 2 sections. The first 2 pages describe what the student's challenging behaviour looks like and records the strategies to use and those to avoid, because we don't want every adult to have to learn from painful trial and error. Print out this plan and place it in the register or a folder that sits on the teacher's desk. And now any adult who takes the class can see in an instant how best to manage this child. We'll also ask every adult who comes into regular contact with the student to sign the form to indicate that they've read and understood it. The rest of the plan takes you through the detail of planning and more intensive adult intervention. We also specifically detail a relapse plan for the student. We explain to them that at times there will be failure, and when that happens, there'll be a system in place to get back on track. This could be having time with a designated adult in school or a process for asking to help. A relapse plan is crucial because it helps avoid the situation where a student feels they've tried to change but they just couldn't keep it up and the plan isn't working. We teach them that change is hard and it will involve failure, but it's part of the process, not the end point. The Stage 3 plan also gives a more rigorous way of assessing the outcome of the plan using goal attainment scaling. If your student reaches Stage 3 and after considerable input is not making improvement, then it's likely that they'll need sustained additional adult support to make progress. However, by using our system, you will have gathered all of the evidence you need to apply for that support. You will have implemented 3 stages of graduated response to meet the student's needs, following the recommended system of assess, plan, do, review. Using the plans and information sheets, you and your teachers will have been prompted to question the causes of students' behaviour. Hopefully, you'll find our approach to gathering evidence and planning your support useful. Underneath this video, you will find the files you need to download and start using the framework. Just unzip them and then either print them out or use them electronically. My name's Emma. I'm from Beacon School Support. Thanks for listening.